Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to my very first autumn forecast for the United States of America. In this video I'm going to bring together all of the long-range global computer models, and I'm going to attempt to use those models to create a possible forecast for the United States this autumn. Now, before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about a couple of things. First thing I want to talk about is the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos at gazwebvids.com. Please play those video ads because you support gazwebvids.com every time you do that, and that in turn will allow me to develop the site in due course and add more things and generally make the site look better. So please play the video as you'll be supporting GazWebVids by doing that. The other thing I want to talk about is the websites that I'm using for this video. Every chart that you see in this video can be found on my links page, or at least the websites to those charts can be found on my links page. Just click on the links tab at the bottom of this page. You'll go through to my links page. There you'll see the links for all of these websites. You can click on any of those links and go through to the websites. You'll be able to see all of these charts for yourself if you do that. So the first model that we're going to start off with is the JAMSTEC IOD model, and this is the temperature forecast from JAMSTEC for autumn, or fall I should say, as it's a United States video. This is the September, October, November temperature forecast for America this autumn, from JAMSTEC, and look at this, it's going for virtually countrywide cooler than average temperatures during this autumn. So from the north to the south, from the west to the east, those temperatures are forecast to be cooler than average, and the core of that cold below average temperature area is probably the northern midwestern states and up into the northeastern states as well. That's where the core of the cold is, but the whole of the country here is being forecast to have below average temperatures this autumn. That's a very, very bold forecast from the JAMSTEC model. It's a huge flip around on what you've seen this summer, of course. I'm not sure how seriously we can take this, because this is a very extreme forecast if it's right, but it's certainly a very bold forecast from JAMSTEC, and it would be a very cool autumn, particularly in the north. This is the precipitation forecast through the autumn, September, October, November. Western states forecast have a drier than average autumn, but these midwestern and particularly eastern states forecast to have a wetter than average autumn, and the core of that precipitation is probably on this eastern side and in the northeast as well. So if you combine that precipitation forecast with the temperature forecast, that's probably going for some early snow, I think, across many of these northern and northeastern states. If this comes off, I think you could well be seeing some early snowfalls in the northeast. Now, what we do need to say about this, if this is averaged out over a 3 monthly period, this is a temperature forecast for 3 months, so you don't know whether 1 month is particularly extreme, the other 2 aren't as extreme. For instance, you could have a very, very cold September, and then October and November aren't too bad, but that 1 month skewers the 3 monthly anomaly. So you do have to be a bit careful with this, but nevertheless this is a very bold forecast from the JAMSTEC IOD model, and the signal is certainly for a colder and wetter than average autumn or fall across much of the north and the east. Next model we want to look at is the Beijing Climate Center. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly from the Beijing Climate Center, and we see we've got a trough being forecast here in the east and a ridge up to the north. So I think this again could be quite a cool and wet signal really for the east and for the northeast. The 500 millibar anomaly is near normal in the west, but certainly there's quite a bit of blocking going on here by the look of it across much of Canada. And yes, the signal is there for below average heights in the northeast. So consequently, for temperatures, the temperature forecast for many of these northern and eastern states is for cool to cold. Yes, we have got cool to cold through much of the Midwest, and whilst the forecast isn't as intense to the northeast, I'm not sure we can take that too seriously with this cool to cold area in the Midwest and the East. I think really you'd be looking probably at cold weather or cool weather, certainly in the east. Well, western states forecast to have the warmth. For precipitation, the precipitation signal isn't as strong, but the southern states forecast have a drier than average autumn, near normal precipitation here for these midwestern and northern states. But I'm not sure we can take that too seriously because the signal isn't all that strong. But certainly for temperature and for the 500 millibar height anomaly, it does look quite interesting. Now, the next model we're looking at is the Russian model. This is the long-range forecasting model from Russia, and we can see that for temperature, this is temperature probability for August, September, October. So this isn't quite the whole of the autumn, but it's the bulk of the autumn. It's September and October, at least, with August as well. And we can see that for temperatures, the temperature probability for northern areas is below normal. Northern states are likely to have a below normal period from August to October. Southern states likely to be above normal. And for precipitation, well, what we're looking at here is precipitation likely to be below normal in many of these northern states. And above normal down here in the southeast, below normal in the west as well. The precipitation anomaly is a bit of a mess, though, it has to be said. Above normal again in the northwest here. The precipitation anomaly is a bit of a mess, though, here, so I'm not sure how seriously we can take this. But certainly these central states likely to be seeing below normal precipitation. Then having a look at the CFS model. You know all about CFS. This is your own long-range forecasting model from NOAA, and this is the 700 millibar height anomaly forecast for September, October, November from CFS version 2. Version 1, CFS version 1 is still going. It was supposed to have been discontinued in June, but it's still going, and it is going to be discontinued now in October, I understand. But this is the 700 millibar height anomaly prediction from CFS, and we can see, well, there's not much to look at all here, is there? I've got very grave doubts about the CFS model. I've voiced this on my UK long-range forecast. I've got doubts about the CFS model. Is this going for average heights at 700 millibars from Mexico to the north of Canada, or is it that the model doesn't have much of a clue what's going to happen? I tend to favour the latter, I have to say. But in terms of the temperature forecast for September, October, November, well, the bulk of the states, you don't think the model has got a signal, but these some of these northern and northeastern and midwestern states may be seeing a signal for above average temperatures, but I have doubts about the CFS model and how reliable it is. And then for precipitation anomaly, it is going for a drier than average anomaly here across much of the north and the east. Wet in the south, that could actually be, this precipitation anomaly could actually be a bit of an El Nino signal, actually. I'm not an expert in United States weather, but I think this could well be picking up on a El Nino sort of signal, with a wetter than average situation for these southern areas and a drier up in the northeast. But I'm not sure about the CFS model. I do have doubts about it. Finally, I just want to show you the temperature anomaly from Jamstec IOD for the winter, and this is the forecast from Jamstec IOD for the coming winter. And again, it's going for quite a cool winter here across much of the United States. The core of the cold, particularly perhaps focused down in these southern and southeastern states, but the bulk of the United States of America is looking cool through the autumn. It modifies through the winter. It modifies a bit from what we see in the autumn, but nevertheless this is still quite a cold winter, I think, being forecast from Jamstec. So I have to see if this is right. As I say, I have got some doubts about the model and whether it's going a bit extreme, but nevertheless it's a good signal there that it's going to be a cool autumn. So I hope you found this video interesting. On the balance of probabilities throughout models, I think we're looking at probably quite a coolish autumn for the United States, possibly very cold if Jamstec comes off, but generally a cooler than average autumn. And for precipitation, well, not much of a signal at the moment for precipitation. I don't think we can come to too much of a conclusion about that. I'll be doing this again next month. The signal will probably be stronger because we'll be a month closer to the autumn. So come back next month and we'll have another look at autumn. That will be the final forecast then. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.